Justice Department is suing New York City and Mayor Eric Adams over the city's migrant sanctuary policies.
Well, this is actually happening. According to Attorney General Pam Bondi, the DOJ is suing New York City and Mayor Eric Adams for continuing to obstruct law enforcement with sanctuary city policies.
And supported by the city council that has shut us out. Letitia James is wrong. New York is not helping us with criminals.
So we have a lot to dig into with this case. If there's one complaint about the Trump administration from Trump voters is that the DOJ never actually prosecutes anyone, well, it's finally possibly happening. So before we start the video, make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, but it also helps others see the videos as well. Here we go.
New York City and Mayor Eric Adams over the city's migrant sanctuary policies. This is the same DOJ that dropped a corruption case against Adams earlier this year. This is also obviously why you've got this heated mayoral race going on in New York City, where the police officers are backing Eric Adams. You've got Cuomo in that race as well. And it comes days on the Democrat side, and it comes days after an off-duty CBP officer was shot in the face in a New York park.
Okay, we will circle back to the illegal immigrants that ambushed the CBP officer. That will be relevant here in a second. But first, I want to show you a clip in which Mayor Eric Adams went on national television and he said, yeah, we want to work with Homeland Security.
And when you hear people state that we should not collaborate with our federal authorities, ICE, HSI, FBI, Postal Service, that is just wrong. Public safety is the foundation. Those who commit violent crimes after they serve their time, I've been clear from the beginning, they should be deported from our country, and I continue to stand by that. And the courts will work out the outcome of this.
Okay, so when you hear that clip, you're probably thinking what everybody else is thinking. The mayor seems to be rather confident in wanting to work with Homeland Security, so what's the issue here?
In the face in a New York park by someone who was in the country illegally. Now, the feds say that both of these suspects were, as I said, here illegally. They had prior arrests, had been released back out onto the street repeatedly.
Basically, what this lawsuit comes down to is the fact that a CBP officer almost lost his life because 2 illegal immigrants were already in prison, but then they were released back into the public. And before this lawsuit, Tom Homan already really told us that New York City was going to be flooded with more agents because of what happened with the agent who almost lost his life.
You don't want to let us into jail to arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of a jail. You want to release him into the street, which makes it unsafe for the community, makes it unsafe for the officer, makes it unsafe for the alien. Anything can happen on a street arrest.
Now, before we continue, make sure to please subscribe to my channel so I can give you guys more updates on this story. Without a doubt, this is going to be quite the battle between New York and the Trump administration, and I want to keep you guys up to date. Now again, I'm trying to bring in all of this context. The reason why this is relevant that Tom Homan is telling everyone we're going to flood the streets of New York City with more agents, the only way for this new operation to be successful for all of these deportations is if the DOJ steps in and sues the city to get rid of the obstruction. That opens up the door for Homeland Security to do whatever they need to do in order to conduct their deportations.
Hey, Martha. Yeah, the complicated relationship between the Trump administration and New York City Mayor Eric Adams gets even more complicated with this latest development. Just in the past few minutes, we're learning that the Justice Department has filed a lawsuit against the city of New York as well as Mayor Adams and other New York City officials over its sanctuary policies. And we are just beginning to go through this report. It's a 37-page lawsuit, but essentially the argument from the Justice Department is that the sanctuary laws violate the supremacy clause of the Constitution.
Okay, this is a very common theme we are going to hear throughout the entirety of the Trump administration. Supremacy clause basically is the fact that there are federal laws that supersede the state laws. This is very relevant in the deportation stuff because I'm sure you guys remember there was a push on the state levels to try and get agents to remove their masks and they have to operate without a mask on. Well, with the supremacy clause, the states have no no power over Homeland Security to tell them whether or not they can remove their mask.
This is very similar to the arguments that we've seen the Trump administration make against Chicago and also Los Angeles. This was filed in the Eastern District of New York, and the lawsuit references those two illegal migrants that you just mentioned, accused of shooting an off-duty CBP officer in the face, who's now in stable condition. Now, those migrants...
What's also interesting about all of this is the fact that the CBP officer attack is being cited in this case. The reason is because the Trump administration has plenty of other cases they can cite as far as supremacy clauses or any other attacks that occurred in New York City because of sanctuary policies. And let's be honest here, the Trump administration, one of their top critiques was, look, you guys keep saying sanctuary cities are bad, well, do something about it. Well, within these past few days, now it seems like the DOJ is just going in on everyone to include sanctuary cities.
Both from the Dominican Republic, had been arrested several times by the NYPD in the years leading up to the shooting. Both of them were released multiple times despite having active ICE detainers and deportation orders in place. Now, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem blames sanctuary policies for this shooting, and Border Czar Tom Homan had similar criticism today. Listen to this.
Absolutely. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. Hard stop. Bottom line, that's what it is. And the President Trump made a commitment a couple weeks ago that we're going to prioritize sanctuary cities. I made a statement the other day about New York. We're going to flood the zones. The sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want. More agents in the communities and more worksite enforcement.
Now, as somebody who covers this topic every day, it's one thing to send in a bunch of agents into an area. However, this is not always a strategy that seems to be working for Homeland Security, because we know there's vigilante groups. We know there's lack of police officers to calm the crowds down or protesters down who are attacking these Homeland Security officers. So now it looks like this is going to be the new strategy. The DOJ and Homeland Security are going to be working together on the legal side of things and on the actual logistical, applicable side of things where the mission is being done on the ground.
Uh-oh. Dang it.
Oh, they're triggered! Look, they're triggered!
Oh, I hate that stuff. I hate it.
That was Portland. Those federal agents, they have everything they need. They have all of the federal assets, but they don't have the support from the local police. So because they don't have the law on their side and there are these sanctuary policies, the federal police, they engage and clash with protesters 24/7. In fact, the local police, according to their own data and websites, they're supposed to be calming the protesters down if there's more than 6 people. I cover that event almost every single day as well, so make sure to please subscribe to my channel. What I'm trying to show you guys is that if you don't have the law on your side and sanctuary policies are getting in the way of federal agents, you could have all the federal agents in the world you want, but it's still very hard to do your job with these sanctuary policies getting in the way.
And this is a nuanced situation for Eric Adams because he has criticized the sanctuary policies before.
We want to release him into the street, which makes it unsafe for the community, makes it unsafe for the officer, makes it unsafe for the alien. Anything can happen on a street arrest. So what we're going to do, we'll have more agents in New York City to look for that bad guy. So sanctuary cities get exactly what they don't want, more agents in the community and more agents in the work site. If we can't arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of the county jail, then we'll arrest him in the community, and we'll arrest him in the jail. And when we arrest him in the community, if he's with others that are in the country illegally, they're coming too.
Okay, so I think it's crucial to actually look at the wording as far as the Justice Department sues New York City over sanctuary policies, because what exactly are they talking about with this lawsuit? Well, today the Justice Department filed a lawsuit against New York City Mayor Eric Adams and several other city officials to challenge New York sanctuary city laws. As detailed in the complaint, New York sanctuary policies have allowed dangerous criminals to roam the streets and commit heinous crimes within the community. These policies reflect an intentional effort to obstruct federal law enforcement and thus are preempted under the Supremacy Clause of the U.S. Constitution. New York City has released thousands of criminals on the streets to commit violent crimes against law-abiding citizens due to sanctuary city policies, said Attorney General Pam Bondi. If New York City won't stand up for the safety of its citizens, we will. For too long, New York City has been on the vanguard of interfering with enforcing our immigration laws, said Assistant Attorney General Brett Shumate. Its efforts to thwart federal immigration enforcement ends now.
Bottom line is we are prioritizing criminal threats and public safety threats and national security threats. We had an agreement to get into Rikers Island, and Mayor Adams, signed an executive order to get into Rikers Island. Of course, the governor came down, totally against it. City council sued and kept us out of there. We're on our way to some collaboration on criminals in Rikers Island, but that was shut down. But they keep pushing this issue. They're helping us. No, they're not. New York City, matter of fact, the two men who were involved with shooting the off-duty CBP officer, they both are released from NYPD precincts many times, several times. So, and look, in New York, NYPD wants to help us. The officers on the ground want to help us, but it's a sanctuary city that was created by Bill Blasio and supported by the city council that has shut us out. Letitia James is wrong. New York is not helping us with criminals.
Okay, so really what this is coming down to is the fact that Eric Adams was not holding up his part of the deal as far as at least trying to cooperate with Homeland Security officers. I mean, to Eric Adams, he has his own supremacy clause because New York state law, he's not allowed to be operating the police force, be working with these deportation operations. Now, I'm going to show you a clip all the way back in April, and again, watch this, and I'm sure you're going to be like, what the heck happened? It seems like Tom Homan and Eric Adams, man, they were like best friends. They were all on the same page.
That's right. Both Homan and Adams taking major action here, announcing the arrest of 27 suspected TDA members on Tuesday. But both say this is just the tip of the iceberg. Listen.
Every member of TDA should be on the run because the Trump administration is committed to removing every single member of TDA and MS-13 from this country.
This country is for those who believe in our rule of law, our principles, and are here to provide a life for themselves. It is not a safe haven for criminal behavior.
Authorities revealing during the press conference that over 30 guns were seized from the suspects. Now, this historic indictment marks the first time the alleged gang members are being hit with racketeering charges, commonly known as RICO charges, which the government used heavily to take down the mafia here in New York years ago. The charges carry the possibility of life in prison and accuse the alleged gang members of conspiring to commit murder, sex trafficking young women, assault, dealing drugs, and more. Homan saying this crackdown is just what the city needs.
Collaboration works. It keeps the city of New York safer. No one can argue. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. No one can argue what happened here in the last several months that resulted in 27 TDA being indicted. No one can argue that doesn't make the streets of New York safer.
So again, I'm just trying to show you guys that it looked like everything was okay, and it was rather silent as far as anything New York City when it came to deportation operations up until the ambush of the CBP officer. Now, there's really only two options here as far as what's going on. Number one, there was always a case being built up and eventually New York City was going to get sued. Or number two, it really was the catalyst that kicked off this suing or lawsuit against New York City in which the officer that was ambushed, that was enough for the Trump administration to initiate this lawsuit.
At the outset, I indicated to you that in fact, New York State and other Democratic states cooperate with ICE when it comes to criminal convictions, but when it comes to innocent individuals who serve as your nanny, who clean your home, individuals who are our neighbors, individuals who unfortunately are just trying to make ends meet.
Both of these individuals had multiple arrests after deportation orders.
And
why are those not opportunities?
And that is why in the state of New York, when it comes to individuals, as you indicated, individuals with criminal convictions, then we cooperate with ICE. But it's important that we make a distinction between those individuals with criminal convictions and those individuals, again, who are just trying to make ends meet each and every day. And the vast majority of individuals who are being secreted and kidnapped at night are individuals who, again, are facing civil deportation and not criminal enforcement. It's important that we make a distinction. It's important that individuals understand that individuals are being caught up in these ICE raids, innocent individuals, students, teachers, small businesses. We all want the same thing, and that is to protect individuals from harm.
And according to Tom Homan, the Attorney General of New York is not telling the truth. Now, her statements and Tom's statements seem to be conflicting, but according to Tom Homan, they have enough data to prove, and they have enough field experience to prove, that they're not getting any support from the local police, even when it comes to the criminals of New York City. And the DOJ and Tom Homan, they're saying the same thing. If you want to work with us with the criminals, why wouldn't you just let us go into the prison systems and go after the criminals? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to please subscribe to my channel so I can give you guys more relevant updates on this story. Thank you so much. God bless, and we'll see you all later.